Alright guys, just got done catching some beautiful trout. What we were using today was all hard bait. So make sure you subscribe to our monthly bait box. Get your hands on these items that we use today to catch these big logs. The Matrix mullet top water, started off with that. Switched over to the Matrix minnow and caught some really nice fish. So enjoy this episode of DockSide TV and you're going to really like this one. Look at that beauty, y'all. But I mean, that's a hammer right there, guys. There he is, baby. We own him now. We own him. Look at that pretty fish, baby. That's a good. They're just toad, y'all. That's two good ones today. That's a good one on top water. That was a good smack. Starting the morning off. Throwing the old floaters. Nice cloudy conditions. That's what I love to do. You get days like this. Perfect for covering water and trying some areas you hadn't tried in a while. See what's really going on there. Get a quick picture of this beautiful trout. But, you know, a lot of times get these perfect top water conditions like these hard overcast clouds like we have right now. And, you know, that top water covers just so much water. Cover so much ground, and you might not catch a lot, but you'll get a slap here and there, a blow up here and there. And if you notice an area where you had 4, 5, 6 blow ups, come back to it after you make your drift, throw some corks or maybe some jerk baits, and you might pick up another, you know, 5 to 15 trout. They might just be slapping at the top water where something subsurface is much better. Working at Matrix rod right now. It's a 6'4" medium with a fast tip. We tried to make the most versatile rod for everything that we do out here on a regular basis. You know, it's got a nice limber tip where I can really airmail these casts, and that's what you want to do when you're throwing top water or any kind of shallow water fishing. You want to be able to make long casts, you know, because as the lure gets closer to the boat, the fish can kind of, there he is, the fish can kind of feel or hear the boat a little bit more. So, casting distance is key. And also, down in the backbone of this rod, that's where it's got its stiffness at, and all of the play is up at top. And that's why it's really good when we're jigging deep, like on the bridges and such. But just a great versatile rod, the old Matrix rod. You can get this at your local retailers. 6'4", medium, fast tip. Been using this rod for many years. Finally got it made by Fitzgerald Fishing. Another top water trout, beautiful morning trout. So I've been working this shoreline for a good 15 minutes with not much activity. But as I got good overcast, I'll stay with it a lot longer. I just kept covering water, covering water. You can fish these things so fast. You can cover miles of water in a short period of time. And finally I came to an area. That first fish of the morning was a really nice one. He crushed it. I'll talk to you guys about it for a second. Got the fish in the well, threw back out there, and bam, another one hit it within the same, 30 feet. So I'm gonna work this with top water a little bit more. See, that's my favorite thing to do. So fun. See what's going on. And if the bite kills, or has my only 2 bites, I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna go right back to where those couple bites were. And we'll try maybe a suspended bait, maybe the Matrix Minnow. See if we can fool a few more speckled bellies into the boat. Got a nice southeast wind right now. A little bit more than I'd like, but definitely enough to keep the gnats off. Which is, if you have slick, calm conditions this time of the year, you are going to be fighting mosquitoes if you're fishing near a marshy bank. That's no fun either. Oh, I just had a huge blow up. Wow. I don't know what that was. Big splash on it. Wasn't really like a trout blow up. But again, a nice, pretty moderate southeast wind. So we're just going to, whenever I'm doing this, I'm just going to pick a leeward shoreline. North wind, north shore, south wind, south shore, east wind, east shore. Do a lot of fishing in Catherine. This style of fishing. You can do this in Bourne, but you want to avoid east winds in Bourne unless you cross over to the Biloxi Marsh. And you're just going to, when you pick a shoreline, these fish just roam these banks. But I do find you want to target something that's got some type of, variation to it, whether it's a cove or a cut through or a bayou or a bunch of jagged points on it or something. You kind of want to avoid the pure straightaway shorelines. Don't get me wrong, I have hit them on just hard straight shorelines with not much differences in the bank, but most of the time, as you can see in front of me, you got a bayou coming out here, and this is like a big cove. You always want to be around something a little bit different than a straight shoreline. A lot of times that bait's coming out the bayou onto the flat, and that can produce some strikes for you. Just had like 5 blow-ups on that cast. Missed it every time. Let's see if I can get them on this cork. So crazy. I don't know if you could hear those smacks in the background, but it was... There he is. I was about to say, if I can't get a fish here, it's a good fish too. I mean, a real good fish. have to net him. Oh, look at that beauty, y'all. Now that's a fish right there. Yes, sir. That's a solid, almost 4-pounder or so. That's what you always want to have, whether it's a jerk bait or something under a cork when you're throwing these top waters. You want to make sure, like that cast I had right there, I must have had 5 or 10 blow-ups, and I saw the back of one of the blow-ups. I saw the back of the fish. I was like, golly, that's a pretty nice trout. And then I saw some other blow-ups that looked like smaller trout. There's probably a little school of 3 or 4 of them all fighting over it. But I mean, that's a hammer right there, guys. Always have a backup. All right, guys, switch to the Matrix Minnow. Sun's coming out a little. Like I said, we're gonna drift right back over where I had a few bites on top water. We're gonna use a subsurface bait. I got him gut hooked. Very, very common to hook these in the side or the belly sometimes. These hooks are razor sharp, so be careful. Old Simba caught one of these in the nose one time. This is the Matrix Minnow. Awesome bait. Definitely a must-have. That's probably my favorite thing to use as a backup trailer bait to the top water. Get a bite on the top water and miss it, you can throw that Matrix Minnow in there. Bam. Kind of like we did with that cork on that big one earlier. Beautiful bait. Beautiful fish. Another nice trout on that Matrix Minnow, baby. Another nice one. Oh, yeah. Pretty fish. Get up here. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Make sure you wear eyeglasses. Got the Matrix mirrors on when you throw in that Matrix Minnow. Because that lure will flip out their mouth just like that. You do not want to catch that in the eyeball. Nice, pretty fish. The old Matrix Trusty Minnow. That's one of our most underutilized lures that we manufacture at matrixshad.com. It's a lure, it's a specialty lure, it's a finesse lure. You know, if you don't use a bait caster all that often or not really used to throwing light lures with it, just use a spinning reel. Definitely use fluorocarbon when you're doing it because it's a clear water bait. Clear water, you want fluoro. I'm using the 15-pound fluoro that we make here at matrixshad.com. That's a solid 2-pound chunk. I just casted it out there, twitched it once, and bam. They'll straighten the line out a lot of times. You want to kind of fish with slack. Twitch, twitch, pause, create some slack in it, let that bait sit. A lot of times they'll straighten it out whenever that bait's just sitting. There he is, right by the boat. Right by the boat, baby. Got a head shaker here. Another little guy. Another little guy. Make sure you got your good set of pliers when you're using these Matrix Minnows. You don't want to catch one of them hooks in the hand. And you can kind of be delicate with these fish. Now that the limit's 13 inches, you're going to be throwing back more. Got our Matrix pliers right there. These have been sitting in the boat probably over a year. This is our first prototype. Still working like a charm. There he is, baby. We own him now. We own him. We own them. It's nothing better in the world than catching trout on hard baits. Top waters, jerk baits, you name it. I almost always have shorelines to myself when I'm fishing them in Pontchartrain. Everybody gets glued to the bridges. I'm sure you could have caught on the bridges today, but you'd be in solid 2 to 3 footers. Not interested in that. No boats around. On a nice, calm shoreline. Most of the ride home, it's going to be calm. I'm not getting beat up while I'm fishing here. This is a good one, y'all. Golly. This is a good one. These fish are really mixed up in size. Let's put the net on this one too. Look at that pretty fish, baby. That's a good. Oh, come on. Got him. Got him. Look out. Another just toad, y'all. That's 2 good ones today. One was smacking my top water. Ended up getting him on the cork, and this one on the matrix minnow. Beautiful. All right, whenever you throw in this matrix minnow, you definitely want to have the wind in your back. So I got about a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind behind me coming off the shoreline. So what I do usually is I'll get relatively close to the shore, and I'll use that wind coming off the shore and throw out and towards the middle of the lake. That way you get, and I'll just, I'll release that lure a little high, let that wind get under it, and let the wind just carry it way out. That way you get a good long cast. And this jerkbait, you kind of just basically walking the dog underwater. Very similar presentation to the top water, except for this is going to dig down about 3 foot, and it's a little bit smaller profile bait, so it's a little bit easier for those fish to get it. Like that big trout I had, that sucker missed that lure. You can hear it on the video. He missed it probably 7 or 8 times. Then you throw the subsurface bait in there like the shrimp. Oh, that was a trout right there, hit me. That trout hit me right at the boat. When I was pulling it out the water, he was chasing it in. When I threw that shrimp in there, subsurface bait, first bite, boom, it hooked him. So top water, some days they don't miss it at all. Some days you get 20 bites and barely land 2. They can be real clumsy on the top water. I use it more or less for, A, the entertainment purposes of the bites, which is fabulous to say the least, and then B, to cover water and locate. It's like combing an area. It tells you everything you want to know if the fish are there or not. Now I'm talking, there he is. I'm talking that 2 to 5 foot of water, 2 to 8 foot. You don't want to be throwing the top water in any deep, deep water. But hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. That wind's starting to kick up. I'm going to go ahead and head on in. I'm going to put that one on the measuring stick. It's funny how some of these fish are right at keepers. Some of them are, that big one was probably 22 inches or so. He was, I don't know, 3.5, 4 pounder. But hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the monthly bait box. We'll call this bait box the shallow water hard bait box here. We're going to be having all kinds of hard baits, top waters, matrix minnows, stuff we use in the shallows like the matrix float, TKO shrimp, all of that for shoreline, shallow water, speckled trout fishing. Hope you enjoyed this one. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until next time.